Quickly, story time. It was winter in Copenhagen. It was cold, it was dark, and everyone was feeling just a bit So the angels at Beta Boulders decided to lift everyone's spirits. They were going to run a bouldering competition, the Winter Bouldering League. And like many people, I signed up on day one and then promptly forgot about it. The weeks turned to months and the snow turned to snowbells. And before we knew it, it was the end of March and the crocuses heralded the end of winter and the start of spring. And with 2 days remaining in the competition, I checked my phone and saw that I was ranked 105th. There is something about thresholds that is important to human psychology. That's why we celebrate milestone birthdays, for example. And being so close to being in the top 100 replaced my indifference with a desire. A desire to finish this competition with double digits. And so, with 2 days to go, I used my final session to try and become a double-digit climber. Read on. Alright, the Winter Bouldering League. Here we are at the beginning and end of our campaign at Beta Boulders West in lovely, lovely Van Losa. And we're starting with something a little bit tricky. Now, flash attempts are very important in this competition. You get 20% extra points if you manage to flash a boulder, so we've lost those points there already. And the reason is that I was starting the wrong way around. This opening move is actually a lot easier if you start backwards. And this is something that I love about comp climbs, so you can never take that flash for granted, no matter what the grade, because they're usually a bit trickier, if not in terms of strength, but in terms of beta and in terms of technique. But on this attempt, we should be fine. Going up now to these big slopey holds, and although I usually like slopers, these holds in particular, I'm not a huge fan. You always have to get your wrists around into them and it never feels super comfortable. Typified by what is going on with my right arm here, where you have to get the whole thing under the bottom of this huge hold so that you can wedge yourself up to the next move. The last few holds though, mercifully, a lot more standard, and we use a little bit of fancy footwork and we can get our first comp boulder in the bag. So on to the next climb and another orange, but as we're about to see, not a great choice. Not because of the climb itself, I really enjoyed this. It suits my style perfectly with this crimpy section through the cave, and then this, what we're about to see, this large dynamic movement to this big sloper on the left. Look at that. These moves where you have to climb out of the cave, but towards the top of the wall, never fail to be exciting. I think I just love climbs like this. But unfortunately, when I logged this climb, after ascending it, it turned out it wasn't part of the comp set. So this climb is actually worth 0. But don't worry about that, because getting a good score in a competition like this isn't necessarily about climbing the hardest problems, it's about having a strategy. And problems on the back wall like this one that you're watching now are central to this plan because of how the scoring system works in this competition. You're about to see that despite its grade, this boulder is worth a lot of points. That's because instead of being given points depending on the grade, each boulder has a pool of points that are shared between every competitor who tops the boulder. This means points are skewed in favour of newer boulders simply by the merit that fewer climbers have had the chance to try it. And wouldn't you know, this back wall at Van Losa is the newest set in the competition. This means that this green 5+ is worth double what this blue 6B+ is worth that nearly killed me. Again though, this was a super cool problem either way. This cave is probably my favourite feature at the gym. Again, having to climb out of the cave, this time out of the right side and up towards these jewel techs here. The trick is though that this jewel tech at the top, although it looks like it would be a massive jug inside, actually has only a very small amount of textured area at the back. So you really have to throw as high as you can to top this boulder. But we managed it anyway, if a little shaky. Some more points in the bag. And finally, the last boulder of the competition, this blue one here, another example that you can't take the flash as guaranteed. Although I did manage it, I did have to think quite a lot about this one, and it would have been easy to fall at several points. Fortunately though, we did make it all the way through. The big questions though are, 1, will it be enough? And 2, even if it is, there's still one more day of the competition where I was working, so will I be knocked down into a lower position as more people complete these climbs? Let's find out together.
Well done. Well done.
Quicker than it looks, actually. It was fun.
I recommend.
So I don't actually know what my final position was. We're about to find out because I asked my girlfriend to write it on a piece of paper. So here is the final result. We can open it together. Well, that's definitely wrong. So I've just checked. 416 is actually the final point score that put us in 87th place, which achieved our goal for this competition. And it got me thinking, because there was a whole gym that I didn't even log any climbs for in this competition. And it got me wondering how well I could have done if I'd have actually applied myself to this bouldering league. So you know what to do. Subscribe to see how I do in the summer league, and this time we will really give it our all. Also, watch this video next.